work is done, the last thing we need to do is actually build out the Advertorial. So Pagefly is one of the best tools you can use for this. You can also use gem pages. They're both great. I use Pagefly. It doesn't really matter as long as your Advertorial looks good and has the right copy on it. That's all you need. You can use Pagefly. It's an app directly connected into Shopify, and they allow you to get one free page built out, in this case your Advertorial, for no additional cost, and you don't even have to add any credit card information. So go ahead, sign up for Pagefly. From there, connect it to your Shopify apps. You can see it here. You're going to go to this exact training that you're watching right now and go to this button here that says Advertorial Template. You're going to download this. You're going to go into your Pagefly. You're going to go under Pages. You're going to go over to Import. You're going to grab the downloaded file. You're going to put it in here. You're going to see, again, this is a template of my winning Advertorial. You're going to hit I understand, import, and now you have an entire template pretty much ready to go for the taking. So give it a couple seconds here. You'll see that it is pulled up. So now we're going to pull this up. And then I have two monitors. I have the luxury of having two monitors. So what I would normally do is have the actual template and everything that I need on one monitor, and then the example that I'm going to be using to build out everything on the other monitor. But I'm going to show you guys basically what I would do in a kind of quick synopsis. So first thing here, we're just going to work top down, is we're going to go to the top here, and you can see Claude is recommending we call this Sleep Health Insider. Totally can, and that's fine. So we'll just go here, and when you select an element like the text box, the changes are going to need to be done here on the right hand side. Now, because this is a white piece of text on a blue background, we're going to, it's going to be kind of hard to see. You're going to have to double click and highlight. So this is called, they want us to call this Sleep Health Insider. So we're just gonna do that, hit space, boom. Now the color scheme and all that stuff, guys, doesn't matter. But if you really, really want to change this background color to a different color, you can go down here to styling. You can go here and you can just change the color, right? Like if you really care to do that, you can do that. And then up is the headline. So again, we already have the headline built out for us. So we're just gonna go ahead and copy this in here. We're gonna go here. Under general is where the text box will be. We'll delete this and hit paste. And as long as it's about 3 lines, you're good to go. If I go to styling here, this is where I can change the font size. So we don't want this to be really big, obviously. The rule of thumb is 3 lines. It should not be 4 lines like this. It starts to get really clunky and looks bad. So 3 lines is good. So right about 42 pixel size is good. Now, when you change things here, you also want to double check that things are looking good on mobile. So just double check here, but on mobile, it's all right. I would probably change that. So to do that, you just go to mobile, and I already made it so that what you change on mobile doesn't necessarily impact what you do on desktop for the headline only. So as you can see here, on computer, the headline has changed, but on mobile, it hasn't, because they're technically 2 different boxes. And you can see this right here, visibility. This box is hidden on desktop and on laptop, and it's available on tablet and mobile. And then this box here is vice versa. So I've done that for you already. So you just got to make sure you change it for desktop and mobile. So we're going to go back here. We're going to remove this, paste that in there, and that's good, right? So that's pretty good, and just hit save. You don't need to be reminded. So there you go. All right, so now I'll get around to these images in a moment, but let's just really make sure we get all the copy built out. The paragraph, date, and everything like that. So today's November 24th. The more recent your article seems, the more believable and trustworthy it will be. So obviously this was built on November 7th. I would just personally just change this. Now, you do not need to go back in here and change it every single day. It just has to be relatively recently. So I don't know when you guys are watching this training. This could be a month, 2-3 months from now. You might be watching this in 2026. That's fine. Just make sure that the date is just update it once to the time you're launching this, and then you're good. You don't have to come back 2 weeks later and update the date. If you want to, you can. It just has to be relatively recently. Now, if you're running the same Advertorial after 3 or 4 months, then yeah, you probably should update this to make it seem more recent. But do not freak out. Do not ask me, Alex, should I, in the last month or 2, you're fine. Don't freak out. Don't panic. Articles are published and people read them from like 2 years ago. So it doesn't matter. Just for the sake of this, we'll just update it to today's date. And that way, when we go to run this for the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, hopefully, it's still fine. It doesn't really matter. So just do that. Same thing here. And then, Claude is going to give you a recommendation. It's going to be today's date, and that's fine. So then we're just going to copy this to copy. As you can see, guys, this isn't really complex at all. I mean, you're just going to be copy pasting. Now, if you notice, these boxes will change for both desktop and mobile. So the visibility isn't hidden here. So if I go to the visibility here, like I just mentioned with the headline, it is different because we're going to need different sizes, but the rest of this does not change. So you just paste it in once and it should automatically be done for you. Double check though, and at any given point, you do want to change something, change the size of one of these boxes, and you don't want to impact desktop or mobile. All you need to do is just hit this button here that says duplicate. Click one of the boxes and just make sure one of them is hidden on desktop and laptop. And then when you go to mobile, you'll see that there's 2. Click on one of these here is only going to show on desktop and laptop. And the other one here is only going to show on vice versa. So now that this is the mobile only one, I can make a change to it by going into styling and changing the font size just a little bit here. So it's not as many pixels. So now that looks a little better. And then hit save. Okay, so there you go. So we'll go back to images. So the rest of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory, right? So now we're going to do, there's headlines and there's paragraphs. So if we go back here, you can see that this is a headline. It's bolded. We're just going to copy. Boom. We can see that this text box is visible on all platforms. So we just go here, boom, remove that and paste. Now, something very important that you need to understand. As you can see here, this is properly spaced out, and you can see that every 1 to 2 sentences, this is properly spaced out. If I go here and I go to copy, go to Claude here, and I go to copy up until the next, I haven't been able to find a way to change that, but it is what it is. So what will happen is if I Control A to select everything, delete, and then paste, you can see that it's not going to paste it in the exact same format. Again, this is an HTML format, but even from a Google Doc, I can't do it. I've been able to figure that out. If you guys can figure it out, let me know. So what I do instead is I just simply copy line by line. And this is where, you throw on some music and you just grind this out, but I'll paste it in, right? So some quick hotkeys for you, by the way, if you didn't know. You can hit Control C or Command C to copy something. You can go over and then you can hit Command V to paste it. Okay, and then to select everything, you can hit Control A and that selects everything, and you can quickly select things and delete instead of like taking forever to do this. So in this example, what I would literally do is boom, hit paste, and then what I would do is I would copy the next line. Again, this little thing here, it might be a little annoying, just scroll around it. You don't need to add that. And then all I would do is hit enter once and then enter twice. So there's 2 lines of space, then paste, then do it again. Okay, and then boom, copy, and then paste. As you can see with 2 monitors, this makes this really easy. And then copy. You can also just right click and copy and then paste. The sentence has some capitalization. So let's paste it in, and won't paste with the capitalization, and then it highlights it and capitalizes it, or makes it bold. Sorry, not capitalizes, makes it bold. So then we copy this, and then we just hit enter again, boom, save. And you just do this for the entirety of the paragraph, right? So you're just gonna go again, boom. Same thing here. Boom. And then let's see, what is bolded over 50% of sleep apnea patients? 50% of sleep apnea patients. And then I can just hit Control B as well to just, make it bold. Boom. And then you just keep going on and on and on. Now, right, I'm not going to do this all day long. We have other things to do. Now you do that until you get to the next headline. So now what is the next headline? The next headline is the night everything changed. So in this case, they'd actually didn't even change it. That's fine. You don't have to do anything. But now the rest of this copy is different. So once again, you would just copy that first sentence there, select this. Obviously, this is copy from the toothbrush. So you would just do Control A to select everything, backspace to delete it all, and then paste the first sentence in, double tap enter, and then do it again. So this is pretty tedious and this is long, and this is why I tell you, do not create an advertorial until you have a winning angle. Now, for those of you that have done everything I've outlined, you should easily have a winning angle. And the success rate of this, that I've done this, every time I've had a winning angle and create an advertorial is 100%. Every time I've spent due diligence to find a winning ad set and a winning angle, spent about $500 with a 3x ROI as a grader. Every time I introduce an advertorial, it just helps accelerate my business. So you do this, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so you pretty much get the idea. Make sure there's no awkward spacing. So as you can see here, there's a gap of space, appropriate spacing. You're literally just gonna do this and just go in and literally change out everything. I would recommend you do it one paragraph at a time. And then there you go. Another thing as well is because I have everything formatted for you, I recommend that if you for some reason need more text boxes, let's say Claude General would do, let's say you need another paragraph headline and the paragraph, just hit duplicate here. And then you can also do duplicate here as well. Just so that way everything stays in order and you're not having to go through here to add a text box. So yeah, that's basically it there. Now, very important, buttons, right? So buttons are super important here. Make sure to change the link to these buttons. You click this and then that this link goes to your product page. Make sure it opens in a new tab. Make sure you use URL https:// and put the link to your product page here. So this example, I'd use this. Copy that and put it on my product page. Okay, so make sure you do those changes. At the bottom here, also change the name, right? Instead of HelloVin, it should be your brand name. And then same thing here on the right-hand side. So the right-hand side, this is just an image that I literally created in Canva. It takes 2 seconds to make. If you don't even want to do that, you can literally just delete this and it's optional. You don't need that. And then again, if you really are confused, right here, it literally tells you exactly what you need to do. So you make sure you change this as well. So copy this. It says break free from your snore, blah, blah, blah. So come here, boom, put that there. Same thing here. Copy that, put that here. And and then change the link again here as well. So you see check availability, boom, select URL, change the link here. So for this particular example, there is a button here that you need to change the link to and a button here. Please double check. So to change this, first things first is under this paragraph here. This is where it's at. And honestly, to create this from scratch, all you would need to do to be hyper selected, click this link button and then just do that again, right? So open a new tab, grab the link to your product page, just here, and then just literally paste it in like this. So now that's good. And then one last thing, you have to change the text color to a blue. So I do this blue here, boom. And then there you go. So now I use this as the example. So if I click on this, this should bring me to my page. So if I hit save here, hit preview, scroll, this, I can click it and it brings me to the new product page. So please make sure all the links, all the buttons, everything is changed. Now, if you notice here, we have a couple things. So we have a footer page and we have a header page. We do not want that. So to take that off, you go here under settings, take this off, show header and footer, remove that. So that is not populating for you, and then hit save. Additionally, I use Shopify inbox on all my stores for the most part. So you see here, you see this here. This is a live chat that is a free tool on Shopify. I have a training on how to set that up. But if you notice, it should not populate on your Advertorial page. And the reason for that is because I already pasted some custom code in here for you guys. So it will not generate the chat box on your Advertorial. We don't want people seeing that. It's going to be distracting and pull them away from reading the copy. So just make sure that CSS file is copied. That you will not have a footer or header. Change your buttons. Same thing with this too, right? These are just the reviews. They provide them for you here. So that you just be doing the same thing you were doing up to this point. It's just going in and removing the old ones and pasting the new ones in. Simple. Copy, paste. As far as buttons too, right? You get buttons here if you needed to change the wording on the button. I believe it's under, it's right here under general. So you just change the name, and then to change the link of the button, like I just already mentioned, select URL, boom, 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 you're good to go. So that's it, guys. I mean, like I said, it's really easy. Just, you know, pay attention to the link there. So don't worry about that. You don't need a legitimate privacy policy added in there. You should have one on your product page though. And then as far as the images, right, and imagery, to change this or to, you know, create these images is pretty simple. So Claude will give you prompting here to create these, to have these images, right? So in the example like this one here, this person's using multiple images. So if you want to follow the outline Claude gave you, it's super simple. In this example, they have you creating 1, 2, and 3 images, and then the one here on the product page was just 4. So that's really easy to do. Let me show you how to do that. So in this very course, if you go under creating ads, how to create winning image ads, you're going to go here, click here on this document, and you're going to prompt to use to create your image ads, by the way. So you technically should already have a chat already of this done, but if you don't, that's totally fine. So we're just going to go copy here. And all you got to do is just switch out the target audience and their pain point with your product. And then we're going to say, for the example here, we're going to use this brand, Botana oil. So we're going to just do ghost show variety of pictures that resonate with women in their 40s struggling with hair loss. This prompt will basically create specific types of images that do a good job of capturing a specific moment in time, in this specific time of the customer's journey, right? So the type of people we want to speak to when we're creating our image ads will be very indicative of that. So as you can see here, we have 20 concepts that are created, but we need to alter these concepts to align with the ones provided to us by Claude. So as you can see here, Claude has given us recommendations. So we're going to actually just copy this recommendation that they provided. Actually, now that I remember we're doing a CPAP machine, let's do that again. Let's boom, 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 boom. Let's copy this and let's keep it with the same exact example here. So instead of doing the Botana hair, the hair loss for women, we're just going to do resonates with people suffering from snoring and needing CPAP machines. So it's going to generate that. And then what we're going to do is literally go here and copy the recommended imagery that Claude provides. We're going to hit copy. We're going to wait for the base concept scripts to be generated, which are in this example is 20. And then we're just going to simply say to ChatGPT, now let's create 5 new, concepts with this specific outline. Be sure to keep the initial instructions the same. So we're going to use that now. We're going to use the recommendation provided to us by Claude. We're going to use ChatGPT to help us create the concepts. And then now it's going to create the concept. So the concept here is middle-aged man sleeping peacefully in a tent. All right, perfect. So now we're just going to simply say, now turn concept 1 into a script for Higgsfield. So now that we have the concepts here, we have a couple different ones to pick from. We're going to have ChatGPT create the scripts that we're going to use. So this script here is perfect. And now we're going to go to Higgsfield. We're going to log in. We're going to select Higgsfield Sol. We're going to change the formatting to a 4x3 because that's what's going to fit the website. We're going to paste the prompt. We're going to make sure that we are on realistic. And depending on the subscription that you're using on Higgsfield, I'm going to just generate 2 images. So we have 2 examples to pick from. And then we hit generate. Then while we're doing that, I like to have a couple of images to work with. So I'm going to say turn concept 2 into a script. And of course, you can just go over to Google and find these images, but it's just so much easier and better to just create your own. So you have no worries about someone saying, hey, here's the images for your website. We're going to try to take you down. So now as that's generating, I'm just going to take the new script, paste that in there as well. And we'll have basically a couple, as you can see here, very easy, very high quality. So now we're just going to generate this one because it's really cool. Then we're going to go back to the funnel. We're just going to select the image, hit change, select from library. We're going to take the downloaded image we just created from Higgsfield. That took 2 seconds to generate. We're going to, for this example, I'm just going to use this product here, but it should just be a nice photo shoot of your product in question. Now, obviously, this product example isn't aligned with what we're selling. I'm just showing you how you would do that. And then there you go. So double check to make sure everything looks good on mobile as well. So if we see here, boom, that image looks really good. And then if we go back to Higgsfield, they gave us some other examples. But I always like to compare 2 different images and go from there. So this one is perfect. So then we just do that again. So now we go back to ChatGPT. We'll copy this other example. Show a diagram showing that throat. Okay, so this might be something we might need to use for Nana Bananas, different screenshots and images of people. So this is actually a great example. So now what we can do is let's go to ChatGPT and say let's generate 5 new concepts that we can use for Higgsfield. So we're going to give it that new information. It's going to generate that. And then all we need to do is just simply say turn concept 1 into a script for Higgsfield. So this is why I like Higgsfield, because in this example we're not going to be able to use Higgsfield Sol to do this. We're probably going to need to use Nana Banana because again, it sounds like a diagram. It seems like a diagram, not an actual person. So Higgsfield Sol is only really good for people. So we're going to go to Nana Banana. They just introduced Nana Banana Pro, so that's cool. So we'll just remove everything, paste that in. We want the imagery to be, once again, 4x3. We're going to do 2. And then we have different quality levels. Let's just go with 2K quality, I guess, and then generate this. This is the first time I'm using Nana Banana Pro. I haven't had a good chance to do that yet. So let's see if this is better. And then we'll just do turn concept 2 into a script. And guys, like, these are recommendations. At the end of the day, like, let's not like over panic and overreact if we can't get the exact image that Claude is using or recommending. Just find another image, right? Like you'll be fine. Like generate another image, use a little bit of brain power and say, hey, it's taking me 3 hours to try to get this image that Claude is recommending me. Maybe I should just not waste this much time on this and find a different image. It's a recommendation. It's not the end all be all, right? Like this is to help illustrate the copy, but the main thing that's going to help you sell this is going to be the words on the advertorial, not the images, right? So this is totally optional. So you have that image there. So let me show you guys something else. So in this example here, with the template that I provided, you have all these like blocks of words. So let's go to this example here. So it's saying we want to place this image right under the electrical muscle stimulation, boom, boom, boom. So let's say you wanted to add an image here, right? In this example, you only have one image. All you would need to do is go over elements, and go to image. I always recommend using the horizontal one and then just slide that bad boy in there at any point. Select image, grab the image you just downloaded from Higgsfield and put that bad boy in there and you're good to go. Do that. And then the next thing I would do is go to styling. Be good there. So we go here. I think everything should be good. Let me just make sure there's nothing that I changed. I go to normal state on that and alignment, because it's going to have the same ratios and everything, and you can always just slide this down to wherever you need it to go. So boom, boom, select from library, should already be uploaded, boom, there you go. And then on mobile that should look fine. Yep, there you go. And then Higgsfield, okay, generate some other images, but I think this one's fine. This might be good because you can see a contrast, air flowing out, air flowing in. This might be the better image to use. Okay. And that's it. That's it, guys. And then you make the changes, make sure everything looks clean on mobile, double, triple, quadruple check your buttons, make sure they're going to your product page, please, please, please. Then do a preview, make sure everything is up to date and good looking, and none of the stuff here, these small details that could be missing, is messed up. And then all you would need to do, last but not least, is just publish this bad boy. So to do that, you're gonna just hit save, and then hit publish. The page title will be visible to people seeing this, so just name it. I keep it simple. I literally just name it the same thing in most cases as the article name. So I'll just do Sleep Smile Insider. Sleep Smile Insider does not make any sense. I just realized I didn't change the rest of that. Sleep Insider, and then page Sleep Insider, and then hit publish. I don't have enough enough space. That's fine. But once you hit publish, then you can go to pages, and then you can click the link here, and then you'll have your advertorial ready to go. Okay. In the next training, I will show you guys how to launch this in your ad account. It's really freaking easy. You're literally just duplicating the campaign. But yeah, let's go to that training now.